Damn. Probably should stop talking about cars, but
Why not? How is this not relevant to Gigi's recovery by the murder capital? Welcome to Every Album Ever with Mike and Alex. My name is Michael Mansour, and I'm joined, as always, by my bright, fun, cheery, reliable co-host, Alexander Volt. Say hello.
hello.
This is Every Album Ever, the podcast where we listen to every single album in the world, one artist at a time. Except for these EAE singles episodes where we just discuss one album at a time or something. Yeah, what the hell are we talking about today?
We're talking about Gigi's recovery by the murder capital today.
Yeah, hell yeah. Where did this come from? I know you suggest you pulled this to me, or you brought this to me.
Yes, this was suggested in our Discord server. So
hell yeah, get on that, join that, patreon.com/everyalbumever. Please join there and hang out with us, and it's cool. And we pick these things from there.
Yes, thank you guys for making our choices a little easier, especially for a new band like this, where I would not have picked it.
I would have never heard of this band. I would have never listened to this band. I'm actually really miserable at listening to new bands. Because what
that's not true.
Well, no, miserable at picking them myself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Because I have no idea where to start. I don't care about names. I'm not like, oh, that's a cool name. I'll try. I just don't pay attention. I don't think about it. I don't give a fuck at all.
Yeah.
But when someone brings it to me and says,
you got to check it out.
Yes. And then I hear something like this, and this is fucking delightful. This is a delightful album.
I gave it a quick once over before adding it on the list, and I was like, Mike might like this. I am neutral.
You're neutral. Damn. I like it a lot. This is a strong contender for being on my year-end list, 100%. Sure, it's super depressing almost the entire way through.
Yes.
And boy, is it depressing. I've never heard of this band before. They're from Dublin, I believe.
Yes, from Dublin. I gave their first album a once over, and totally different album, which is good.
That one's called When I Have Fears, which came out 2019. Different how? I
think that album is more my speed. It's a little heavy. It's not. It is way heavier.
Way heavier.
A little more angry. I'm all for bands doing different and new things. This time it just didn't land for me with Gigi's recovery.
Interesting, because
I should say that first album was produced by this guy Flood, who has done a wave of crazy, like so many. We'll be here all day if we read them all.
Well, we're gonna Mark Ellis, his real name. New Order, U2, Nine Inch Nails, Mark of the Mamas, Depeche Mode, Gary Newman. A lot of English bands I'm seeing here.
Yep.
Sneaker Pimps, King, Ministry, The Chardons, 30 Seconds to Mars, Erasure, Hey Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, PJ Harvey, Foles, Aha,
Yep,
Orbital, Sigur Rós, Jesus and Mary Chain, Smashing Pumpkins, Killers, White Lies, Pop Will Eat Its Health, Warpaint, EOB, Interpol, and then he's also worked with Brian Eno, and
also
goes on.
Steve Lillywhite, who
right,
yes.
Wait, where's he from?
Click on him. There we go. Ecstasy.
No shit.
I thought we did something else with this man.
Well, he's done a lot as well. The Laws.
Oh, The Laws. Yes.
Yep. Hell yeah. I mean, big fan of both those bands. Hell yeah. Alex, not so much.
No.
Yeah. So already they're in good company. But this album, Gigi's Recovery,
totally different. That if you're watching this video and you only know them for their first album, this is never mind a whole new ball game, maybe even a different sport.
So having not heard the first album, I'm just going into this, and it's like, oh yeah, they're billed as a post-punk band, and it's very post-punk with a lot of Strokes indie kind of stuff thrown in there every now and then.
There is a vibe about this album that makes me feel like I'm listening to the early 2000s alternative music for sure.
There are definite, like the song Return My Head is a beautiful example of that. It's basically that. it's quite nice. I think it's very nice, and it's one of the more high energy things on here. There's another track on here that also does that I'm blanking on at the moment, but it's not like the whole. It's mostly like one or two or three tracks where it goes into that territory, which it's not my favorite thing ever, but like in spurts, it's fine. And also, I think the album is paced very well. Because most of it is extremely melancholy and sad and depressing and really emotional. I mean, the whole thing is very, very emotional. But there are a couple moments where they switch it up and change the feel. And one of those, which I think is one of the best songs on here, is "The Stars Will Leave Their Stage," which takes a turn to something more intimate and more dark, more evil. It has this, I don't know what the hell that main hook is. I mean, there's a lot of keys and synths on here.
Yes, yeah. Some of the electronics or synths or keys, I'm not sure what's doing what.
Yeah,
I'm trying my best here.
Billion layers.
Yes. That's a great example of a lot of these songs, but that's the best example where they feel minimal and simple, but they're actually very busy with what's going on.
There's any moment, just pay attention to the background, and there is a different thing happening repeatedly. There's so many different things in the background.
This is how you get normies to listen to unusual stuff.
It's also very accessible. This is a very, I mean, despite it being very sad and a bummer, it is very pleasant. It is very soft. It is soft is relative. I mean, soft is in like easy to swallow, because it's fucking gorgeous. I mean, most things on here are so goddamn beautiful, and the way that some of these songs build and develop, intricate and very smart.
For me, I feel like there's a lot of bits that I like where I can go, oh, that's cool, that's awesome, but when it's all put together, it feels a little too samey to me.
It does get samey. I think so. It definitely gets samey, and even the moments where it changes in feel to kind of shift the pacing, like "The Stars Leave the Stage," or what's the other one? "The Lie Becomes Itself." That's the other one I'm thinking of. Another one that goes dark and shifts the mood a little bit more uneasy. Even though it has those moments where it changes things, it is still very much a melancholy ass album.
Yeah, it feels like all the songs kind of build and climax in similar ways, where it's like, here's the drum beat, here's the effects, and then we're going to bring in the vocals. And if you like this type of music, it's fine. I've talked about how certain genres of music, I don't care that they're doing the same thing. It scratches that itch. I'm sure this scratches a lot of people's itches.
Well, I'm more sensitive to like the sameness thing, even if it's a thing that I like. If it's doing it too much, even I'll be like, all right, come on, guys, what the fuck? Like, you had me. All right, now what? Sensitive or less tolerant. I don't know which term I'm looking for. But so this one is super samey. What kept me forgiving of it was how fucking good the writing is. Like, yeah, it all feels the same, but all the songs do a thing that I don't expect them to do, at least from a writing standpoint. Like the progressions will be like a simple 4-note riff or whatever. And it's just a 4-note riff that I didn't anticipate. A slight, like, obviously not generic and not something that's been done a million times, but just like a slightly like, oh, it's not like revolutionizing anything, but it's just a sequence of notes that hasn't been done to death. And something that simple is enough to kind of like re-energize or perk me up again in the middle of an album.
I will say, like, the drummer has got cool, interesting beats throughout. It's never, like you said, it's never what you think it's going to be. It's this this music where it's unique enough, but also for the masses, it goes down easy. The
drums here it really makes me feel like whenever I make music, that I'm fucking up on drums every time I hear something like this, because of how characteristic and distinct each song is just from the drum line. Like, yeah, it's they're not going crazy time signatures here or anything, but the drums are doing a very riffy thing. That's
a good way to put it. Almost like you have the guitar riff, and these aren't beats; these are drum riffs.
Exactly. It's how they feel, and they end up sticking in your head. A lot of we've mentioned in the past a lot of albums that or bands, drummers that have done that, where you end up just memorizing the drums because. But the thing is, I think the songs are strong enough to hold up even without that element. But the fact that they do have that element is fucking rad. Like I said, the buildup is great for most of it, where it gets just so big and moving, and it's like, fuck, I want to cry. This is very great. The vocals are a very specific kind of thing.
Not monotone, but they kind of have the
British. It's not British, but it's like a British style.
And he has like the one inflection, and even when the music is maybe peaking or going lower, he kind of has the same delivery throughout, which is obviously deliberate. And there's occasional points where he'll like reach in a little bit deeper, but
most of the time it's around the same register, very chesty, very like deep. And the way it's produced, it's almost louder than everything else. It's very close to the mic right there. It's very intimate, very, especially with like the lyrics are super personal and depressing. The best example of that, it's not the most accurate example, but the best is the intro, Existence, which is it's an intro, and it's obviously like a minute long, and it has these big giant synth swells, but the vocals are fucking right up on there.
Yeah.
And you hear exactly what he's saying, and it's very sad, dark lyrics. And they're not as loud in the rest of the album, but they're still pretty loud, and they're still very close. There's no spaciness or ambience in the vocals. There's no like heavy reverb. It's all just right there on there, right singing right in your fucking ears.
Which for the subject matter, it feels appropriate. It's not like this wild production choice. It makes sense.
Yeah, I mean the second track is called "Crying." I mean it's very on brand.
Yes.
And most of the time he sounds fine. It's not my favorite thing in the world. I don't really like the style. It reminds me of a Strokesy kind of voice. But it's still I found it to be no hindrance to the album at all.
That song "Crying," just to talk about the drums, I love how it's this like snare roll with brushes, but like you said, when it like swells, you just have this like, yes,
that song has a rev to it for sure. It starts out very like very soft little pats, especially with the drums.
And I think he's just playing the same thing. It's just that it's a
bigger and louder and more powerful,
and then playing with sticks instead of the brushes.
So many great textures, and there is too many to possibly list. And like I have a lot of notes here, but it's hard. I actually wrote too many fucking notes. I can't even find what I'm looking for. But there's so many textures and little synth lines that sound like synth harps or something, and it's just in the background, and it's just maybe it'll play one riff. And then when it comes back to it after a chorus, it'll throw in these harp sounds, and it's like, fuck, that opens it up. That's way better. Oh, it's beautiful.
So for specifically like a harp sounding thing, and I don't know if it's guitar or effects or whatever, but 1,000 Lives.
Hell yeah.
There is this harp like thing going on, whether it's, samples.
I'm sure it's synth.
Yeah. But yeah, another great example of like, this is very pleasant riffage going on regardless of instrument.
Beautiful layers. And that's not the only example. There's plenty of, and even when they do straight piano, which isn't often, but I think it might be on like the title track where they throw in just straight piano. Like, fuck, man, it cuts through it. It's like, without those lines, the song is still good, but with them, it's like special. I feel like, and then another example of the way they do, because I do think it's samey as fuck, but goddamn, it does do a pretty good job pacing. Only Good Things is another example. It's like the only hopeful, uplifting song in the album. Good build, has more energy to it. It's brief.
I really like the opening guitar riff on that song too. Like, because there are unique guitar riffs going on, even if they're not the star of the show.
Yeah.
Where maybe in other bands that riff would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only Good Things also sounds a lot better following We Had to Disappear, because that one is insanely depressing. It's not unlike the rest, like, you know, in terms of it being emotionally moving, but god damn, it's all pain. That song is all pain.
But also on We Had to Disappear, there's this part where the bass kind of starts doing something different. Like, if anyone wants to look it up, around the like 130 mark with the keyboard stuff. And it's just like, again, I'm like, it's really fucking cool. But overall, listening to like the overall song, I'm just like,
I get it. I did honestly enjoy this a lot more on my first listen. And I think it's a context. Like, it kind of depends on the mood. It depends what you're expecting. And yeah, because I actually did find it to be more samey on my second listen than the first one. Because it's paced well. It's not the most amazingly paced thing in the world, but it is good for what it is. But I did find the writing to be pretty exceptional. And like even certain things that I find maybe not so amazing on the surface, like Ethel, something about that fucking song. Maybe it's like the lyrics where it's like it's talking about a fucking, like, you know, a baby, and it's like, it's something. It's just the wording that he uses. It fucking soul crushing, and it works. And I love it, even though I probably wouldn't love the song on its own, but just the way everything came together. It's like, God, this is fucking moving. Love this.
Yeah, Ethel was a miss for me.
I had a feeling. I knew it, but just the way it all, there's something about those fucking lyrics, man. And I'm not a lyric guy too, which is saying a lot.
No, you aren't. The amount of times you've bought up lyrics is shocking, actually.
Probably fit them on one hand.
Yeah.
Out of all almost 200 episodes that we've done.
Yeah.
But like this is, it feels like a thing that I felt like I've heard before, but
different.
I can't like point out where it's the same, because these songs are deeper. They are more unique. They are better written. They are insanely intelligently placed and arranged layers. And I feel like this one needs more, like this one really needs to be digested more, because it's not inaccessible.
No,
it's
not at all.
really pleasant. It's really pleasant, but it's also kind of like how you're not too jazzed on it. If you hear the vocals, you're like, oh, it's this kind of band. And I feel like it can be written off by some people, like for that reason.
Yeah, I can, I think some people have issues with like listening to something and it's not for them, and they take it personal, or they try to like undermine or throw certain aspects under the bus. But I can just say, like, these cats are talented. It's just not for me. And I am interested to like really like listen to that first album, because I was not, because I went in reverse. I listened. I was like, oh shit, it's one of the few times in this podcast where I have extra time. So like, just for context, let me listen to this.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is night and day.
Oh, interesting. I wonder what caused the shift.
But yeah, I mean, I'm all for bands changing it up, doing something different, especially this early on in their career. This is their second album.
I like that. I like the huge shifts super early on. Like, why already put yourself in a box?
Oh, yeah. Don't let your audience get that comfortable.
That's the thing. Like no one can be disappointed that you don't sound like how you used to if you never sounded like how you used to.
Yes, and that is a tall order for sure. But
well, it's a tall order, just in terms of like setting a name for yourself, or making a brand, or whatever bullshit word you want to use. But it's also hard for people who don't have the ability to do that. Like, some people just can't make different music than the music that they make.
Sure.
Like, I think a lot of people take for granted huge stylistic shifts. Like, even if it sucks and you don't like it or whatever the fuck, to have the capability to try something that you've never thought of before, that you've never done before with this group of band members, or whatever the fuck circumstances you're in, to try something completely different means you had the I don't know, the sight to try something different, or to like be able to actually pull that out of your ass. Especially people without musical talent complaining about that. You have no idea what you're fucking talking about. Try it.
Yeah.
No idea.
Show us how it's done.
And also, I like how this one's done. This is so fuck it. The title track, which I found a little bit tough to pin down on first listen, because like the first half is pretty kooky almost, and I like this doesn't feel necessarily, depressing or post punky. I mean, maybe a little bit post punky, but as it goes on, it builds and gets emotional, just like most of their songs. But the shifts that song does, I found them to be more interesting than all the others. Like at 4 minutes 15 or so, like it gets super dancey all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Like super dancey with these devastatingly beautiful piano lines. Like don't often hear those two things going together.
I was going to say the song doesn't work for me, but the last 2 minutes I can say are great.
It's pretty spectacular last few minutes.
Yes.
Even though I do like the whole thing.
It is the most like epic in nature song. The majority of the song doesn't work for me, but goddamn, those last 2 minutes are it's a ride.
There's something about a good buildup where they nail the buildup, even if you don't like how. It's the stupidest, almost wrong example to compare it to, but Monstrance Clock by Ghost.
All right.
Where it's like the song sets it up as like this almost campy. I mean, they're a very campy band, but more campy for Ghost even. And then it goes into that chorus, which would eventually be the giant outro, where it's just the catchiest thing in the world. It's like, oh, okay, I like where it ends up. I don't necessarily like how it got there, but I like where it ends up. Good buildup can change a whole lot.
Absolutely.
And that's the last thing. That's the last time I'll mention Ghost. I'm sorry. I no longer like them.
They will come up again, as will Korn.
They will. Man, I wish I still liked Ghost. It bums. That's one of my biggest musical heartbreaks.
I was talking to someone about Mastodon, and they were saying they kind of like fell out of love with the band, and I was like, you know what? Their first 4 albums are so fucking flawless in my eyes.
Quite good.
That even if they release nothing but stinkers, I don't even care, because those first 4 albums are like on a level where a lot of bands can only dream.
So many bands have that. I guess that's what, like, you earned your spot. Do whatever the hell you want. I'll love you forever, no matter what.
My love for Ghosts isn't as strong as it is.
Not even close.
But I'm just like, they got a few albums I like, and you can't take those away from me, and I don't care. So
they have 2.5 albums that I like a lot. But man, it's just the drop off was like, I mean, Prequel was like, oh, whoa, this is not good. Holy shit. I mean, a couple of songs are all right. Like, what the fuck? And then the last one, I was like, I'm sad. I felt like I lost a friend.
Damn.
Yeah.
That hit you. Yeah, that hit you harder than it hit me then.
And that's, it's because I was hopeful of where they were going.
Okay.
I was like, this is a great band. They're pushing it. They're doing more with this, unique kind of poppy metal style that they're doing. And then they just went in a direction. I'm like, oh, fuck. Whereas Death Heaven, another band we reference every episode. I'm okay with them putting out Infinite Granite, which I fucking hated because of how much I love Ordinate Corrupt Human Love and Sunbather.
And then to tie it back into this, they're doing something different.
And they're trying something completely different. By all means, do it. Do the thing. I don't care if I don't like it. It makes you a better artist. It makes you more well-rounded. At the very least, it greases up those gears so that you can do it better next time.
And do the Bart Simpson, at least you tried cake.
Less condescending, I was hoping.
No, I'm just fucking around.
I do deeply respect those bands, even though I don't like them so much now. Old Death Heaven, I'll always have they're my Mastodon. Well, Mastodon is also my Mastodon.
Yes.
But I do like Mastodon's later stuff a lot more than probably a lot of people.
Yes.
The last album they did, I had problems with it, but I still thought it was cool. And the one before that I liked a lot.
Yes. Emperor Sand kind of felt like I don't want to say a redemption album, but it was
a bit after fucking, was it Rally Round Jaw Throne? Wasn't album before that?
Rally Round Jaw Throne. Rally Round Jaw Sun again. Once more round the sun again.
There we go. Yeah, that one was a bit rough. But actually, speaking of Emperor Sand, because we saw them at Amoeba before at the old location, and then you had to buy the CD to get it in, essentially.
Yeah.
That CD, I still have the case, but the CD itself was stolen out of my car stereo a few years back with my old shitty car when someone broke into it. I was like, oh man, I lost my stereo and that fucking Mastodon CD.
Oh man, well, at least it's just. Did they autograph shit? No.
No.
At least it wasn't autographed.
Yeah.
I used to buy so much Mastodon shit. I probably got a spare laying around.
Yeah, probably. It's just me an extra Emperor Sand replace. Man, that car, it's a miracle. It's a miracle. It was only robbed once, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, and this is how shitty that car was. There was nothing broken. Like it's almost like they just opened the door and it just wasn't locked anymore.
They probably did.
Simple. Like, nothing else is missing because I didn't have anything. I was fucking broke. Like, please don't take my registration. I need the registration.
Sure, and insurance. But yeah.
God, that does blow though. Someone just lifts your fucking car stereo in like 2020. No, it was like 2017. I forgot.
You ever have like the face? You take the face plate off.
It was one of those stereos.
Okay.
But I didn't, because who's going to break into this shitty car that has nothing? And yeah, I got my answer. That guy, whoever that guy was.
That guy.
Actually, and that same, I was living in this one apartment I don't live at anymore, but in that same place, because I had to park on the street and it was like a kind of populated area. Fucking, man, that place sucked. So I got my shit stolen, like almost like, I think it was like a month within living there. It was immediately robbed.
Was this in West LA?
West LA. Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
It wasn't in a bad area.
No, I've been there.
Yeah. And then later on, my bumper, the front bumper was hanging off because my mom gave me that car. It was her old car.
Mm-hmm.
And she fucked up the bumper because she just drove into a pole. And we didn't get it fixed because we had liability insurance and that's it, because it's an old car and we're broke and whatever. So I never got it fixed. And then I go out to my car to go to work one day, and the bumper, which was normally just cracked and kind of hanging off, was now just missing. It was just gone. Someone had just rammed into it and just cleaned out the rest of it. And it was officially dead. I was like, okay, well, the bumper is finally fully gone now. Cool.
Man.
Yeah, I junked that thing for $300 when I got a new car. And I'll tell you, man, it's weird when you realize that your entire life is hanging on $300. Because if I lost the car, I lost everything.
Yeah. I had to junk. It's the only car I ever felt attached to. I had like a 98 Volvo, and I love that.
I remember that car.
I love that car so much. I don't know why. There's a sturdiness to it.
Volvos, dude.
Yeah. I just love that car. I couldn't get it to pass smog, and it like broke.
That's what happened? You just couldn't get this past smog?
I got a fix it ticket, and guess what? You got to fix it or you got to junk it.
Dude, that smog bullshit is one of the biggest scams. Like, if it was actually done with the intention of like bettering the environment, then fine. But it's not. Mm-hmm. It's just another policy, and it's a lot of it's like scammed, and a lot of it's like smog testers taking advantage of people. I got burned once by a smog tester,
mm-hmm.
And then it was such a. Just how you know you get the worst, flimsiest burning of a smog tester that I had was it was the same shitty car, which for some reason ran like a dream until the very end, because it was Honda, dude.
So that's what Hondas do, right?
Yeah, they may get robbed and smashed into, but they will keep driving.
Reliable.
I took it to the place, and the dude was like, I can't find the fucking manufacturer number code thing on your cat. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I was like, I just got it fixed. Like, it's there. Did you check? He's like, it's not there. I'm sorry. I have to fail. He was like, what the fuck? So he fails me. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. So I called my mechanic. My mechanic was furious. He was like, give me his number. So he's like calling saying like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, it's there.
You're just saying words.
Yeah. Like, how about you use a mirror if you can't find it? It's fucking there. And then sure enough, he checked again with the mirror. He's like, oh, there it is. Like, go fuck yourself, dude. Man, they'll burn you for anything.
Damn. Probably should stop talking about cars, but
why not? How is this not relevant to Gigi's recovery by the murder capital?
You know, if you're having car problems and you're a young band from Europe, Mike will love you, and
I'll give you a ride.
He'll give you a ride. He'll go pick up what country New Road?
Black Country New Road.
Yeah.
They have 20 members in their band. I don't know if I can fit them all.
And the murder capital, and yeah. I this loosely I was just like, yeah, Mike's on a little bit of a trend with
these European bands.
Yeah, these young, sexy European bands.
Hey man, throw in Black Midi along with them.
Hell yeah! There's like 100 people in that band too.
I don't know where they find these fucking people. I can't even find a guitarist. Jesus Christ. I haven't looked, to be fair, but still. Yeah,
it is like nice feeling like there's something in the water, something's happening. And
yeah, it makes it seem like, oh yeah, it almost, because having lived in LA my whole life, there's really, you get the one version of finding members in a city that's this big, that's this populated, that has, like this many people trying to do something in entertainment. Whereas if you go to somewhere small, you end up like finding people that are more passionate, that are more grateful to be a part of a thing because there's nothing else. So that maybe like in a way I kind of grass is greener in a grass is greener kind of way. I think like they care more. They're more dedicated. They're more reliable. They're more open. Like, whereas in LA, you get a lot of flakes. You get a lot of people just wanting a certain thing. You get a lot of drug addicts. You get a lot of fucking party people. You get a lot of bullshit, and just nothing ever pans out.
Yeah, I mean, it broke me to whatever. It's complicated, but one factor was like, yeah, doing these auditions and meeting these like unbearable personalities, or like,
yeah, the LA personality type is real.
Everything felt, not everything, but most things felt like I was auditioning for like a blockbuster movie, and I'm like, I'm not fucking trying to do that. Like,
I wouldn't be so put off by like the high standard kind of thing if it weren't for the LA personality type. And that, I know some people like that. I don't like talk to them a lot, but I still like friendly with them. And it's rough, man. Like, it's like, it's the antithesis of my being. Like, yeah, I was born here, but when you're born here, it's very different than someone who comes here. It's like the whole really, really glorifying the partying stuff, the going out to events, or like talking to your followers as though you're some kind of influence. Like, there's a lot of this. Oh, I worked with this. I worked with so and so. He was so great. It was so great. Like, shut up. I don't care. Who are you talking? What are you talking about?
How does that impact right now?
A lot of it's like trying to make everybody happy because you want to work with them again. So much of that is like, it just, I mean, they call it phoning for a reason. It's just, it's nauseating. And it's a lot of it comes with the relax, man mentality. A lot of it's the, what's the big deal kind of mentality. Whereas I'm more of the like, just get your shit together and fucking do it. Like, what the fuck? Shut up. What? Yeah. Shut up.
Or like, can we have fun? Does anyone want to have fun? No. Okay.
Or my favorite, and we're just complaining about our fucking like living in LA. The purposefully saying the contrarian stance because you're in a group of people and you want to stand out. One, and I'm not going to say who it is because we've talked about this person in the past and bleep their name because they are semi-famous and we don't want to whatever. I was around this fucking guy. And he went on a whole thing about like, fuck people who say LA sucks, you know? And it's like, then he went on this whole thing about how LA is actually super great and authentic and real. I'm like, dude, you're not in there. What are you talking about? What?
It's so funny because I'll go on record. I love LA, but I'm going to say for whatever reasons he said, totally wrong and different for why I love LA.
You can love LA as your home, but that's not what he was doing. It was like for the reasons that we don't like LA. That's actually why it's good.
I'm sure it was the phony stuff.
Yeah, nice guy, but fucking, you know,
I love LA.
We love it. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Fucking
short people. God.
Great song, great message. So Gigi's recovery by the murder capital. Alex not too big on it, but it's just a circumstance of not being too big on this type of post-punk. I think it's fantastic, wonderfully written, well-paced, and emotional as fuck. It's pretty gorgeous.
Not for me, but notice how I didn't really say anything bad about it, because
if it's well done, it's well done.
Gotta give it up.
You got to give it up. So check it out if you're into that. I mean, if you're big into post-punk, I mean, full on Gang of Four, Ecstasy, Joy Division, fucking, I don't know, The Sound, Killing Joke.
We're just looking for some new upcoming band to take advantage of.
I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it. So give it a listen. Hell yes. You can find a link to the full album in the description. But thank you so much for listening and watching and hanging out. If you want to hang out with us further, go ahead and subscribe and like the video and talk some shit in the comments. If you both like us or don't like us, it doesn't matter. It's going in the comments. It's there for you to do that. You can follow me on all social media at PanderMonkey. You can follow Alex on Instagram at
Every Album Alex.
Don't forget our history guy, Tom Osman, at Tom Osman Sounds and all social media, as well as TomOsmanSounds.com, where he has all his music stuff, including his new album, Industrial State of Mind, and his Substack, TomOsman.substack.com, for all his writing on music. Cool stuff there. You can find links to all that in the description.
And then I'm also going to plug the Sonic Cloth podcast one more time.
Hell yeah.
Well, I'll do it 3 times, but hopefully the episode's out. I joined the Sonic Cloth and we talked about underground hip hop label Anticon, something I'm very passionate about and revisited. And if that's your thing or you're looking for like weirdo hip hop, please listen to that.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Don't forget our Patreon. Please don't forget our Patreon. Patreon.com/every album ever, where we got bonus episodes. You get to see our schedule in advance. You get to vote on polls to decide who we cover next. You, of course, can join our Discord, where you can suggest these episodes, these EAE singles episodes, anything that came out this year. Throw it on there and we'll try to squeeze it in whenever we can, or if it piques our interest in any way. And if you're tier 2, then you can suggest a full ass discography for our numbered bigger main episodes. Tier 2 only, but it's worth it and it's cool. So go there and do that, please and thank you.
I feel like we've built up almost hitting halfway into the year. We've built up a nice little collection of these single album.
Oh yeah,
reviews.
Pretty much. I mean, I wasn't expecting so many of these to be like, oh man, this is probably going on my list, on the year-end list. Like these are fucking good albums, man.
Not a bad start for the year.
Not bad at all. I mean, and especially because I've been unfamiliar with a lot of them, so I think it's very hopeful.
We started the podcast with one intention, but I like what we're doing here.
I wasn't expecting to be this current. To be fair, we did 150 discographies in a row. We needed a bit of a break. Let's hear something else that came out this year.
Oh man.
But that about is it. I think that's about it. So I might as well.
You got last song on this one.
Oh, I guess I gotta pull up fuck. I forgot to pull up.
It's buried under that speaker.
Yeah. Yeah, this is truly one of the worst apps. I think it's the worst app on my computer by far. I think I'm going to go The Lie Becomes a Self.
There we go.
Hell yeah.
That's
So
a good one.
thanks so much for listening and watching. See ya.